Women who use wheelchairs are choosing to get catheters fitted, we're talking about now. That's because they're unable often to use disabled toilets. Crucially, the catheter surgery is completely unnecessary because there's nothing wrong with their bladders. The problem is the design of so-called disabled toilets. But women have physical conditions which mean that they are unable to lift themselves out of their wheelchairs and onto the toilet. And you'll know if you go into a disabled loo or you see inside one, yes, they have handles to assist with movement, but not all of them have the hoists, which are what a lot of women need. And disabled people, over 250,000 disabled people in the UK are unable to use standard disabled loos. The nearest usable toilet can be hours away. Most of the time, the only one they can access, therefore, is in their home. And if they want to be able to leave the house, they've then got to choose between a horrible set of options. Some limit the amount of water they drink, some wear adult nappies, and perhaps most shockingly, some are having catheters fitted, and that's what we're talking about today. If this affects you, do call 08000 288 291, email vine@bbc.co.uk. Going to speak to Fee Anderson and Marnie Smith, who are both disabled and very, very much active in this area. Fee, first of all, you haven't got the catheter yet, but you're going to get it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm due for the operation in December.
So tell us why you decided to.
Well, basically, 15 years of holding it all day, every day has impacted my health to such a degree where I get constant infections and I'm already immunocompromised. It's getting to a point where I'm resistant to many antibiotics and we're running out of treatment options. So with the lack of changing places that have hoists and adult-sized changing benches to sort your clothes out on, without them, as everywhere as normal disabled toilets are, I can't wait that long until they're all over as we're trying to campaign for.
Yeah. Tell us a bit more about your disability, Fee, if you can.
Okay, I was born with muscular dystrophy, which is a progressive muscle wasting disease. You basically are born with it and you lose ability over time. I've been a wheelchair user since I was 6 years old, and I need care throughout the day with a team of great PAs and family support and 2 young children.
Understood. And over time, I know you've developed ways, very inconvenient ways of getting through the day without needing the loo. Tell us a bit about them in very, very small amounts of water, I gather.
Yeah, at one point I was drinking maybe half a child-sized cup of liquid a day just so I could go out and lead a normal life, which is ridiculous if you think about it. But the only other option would be isolation.
And you were chewing gum because it produced saliva?
Yeah, that's right, because going about with a dry mouth and basically making yourself dehydrated, as though it sounds crazy, what would you do in this situation?
And have you had situations where you've gone into the sort of disabled toilet that we see a lot, which just has the bar on the wall, and it's just been impossible?
Yeah, I can't self-transfer. There's many wheelchair users who cannot get themselves from the wheelchair to the toilet, and that's why changing places toilets are so needed, because, a couple of grab rails, not all people have the ability to use them. There's 250,000 people who need changing places.
So if you've ended up with holding it in and then getting infections and then having antibiotics and then after a while you get antibiotic resistance, you're in a little bit of a point of no return here with it, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. It can be life-threatening because if they can't control the infections, which is what the point I'm at now, then you get sepsis.
Yes.
And for somebody like myself with my condition, I could die from that.
Yeah, no, completely understood. Fee, stay with us if you can. We've got Marnie Smith listening to that. Marnie's 23. And Marnie, you've been through this operation of having a catheter.
Yes, I got it 3 years ago.
Tell us if you can about your disability.
So I have a condition called spinal muscular atrophy. It comes under the umbrella of muscular dystrophy as well, so I'm a full-time wheelchair user. I can't weight bear at all to self-transfer, and I need 24-hour care.
And self-transferring is is obvious, really, where you just use the bar on the wall to lift yourself across onto the loo. So if you can't do that, you need a hoist. Yeah,
I need a hoist to be able to get in and out of my chair and on and off the toilet.
And what made you get a catheter then, Marnie?
Like Fee, I was just dehydrating myself all day, every day. It got to a point where my hair was falling out because I was dehydrated all the time. I've got like dark circles under my eyes from the dehydration, which might never go.
Really? So you understand completely what Fee is saying about that?
Yeah, it was just, and it's not just your health as well, but it's your social life. Like I was at university and I had one drink on a night out. I had to go home because I needed the toilet. So it was affecting every aspect of my life.
So when did you have the surgery?
I was 20 when I had the surgery.
So 3 years ago. And how has it changed your life?
Oh, it's dramatically changed my life. It's given me so much more freedom. I don't have to worry about where I'm going has a change in places, toilet or not. I can drink what I want, when I want. It's just amazing. I feel healthier. Like everything's just better. Really?
And now it's just a matter of, I guess, emptying the bag somewhere whenever you can. But it's not the pressing case it is when that fluid is inside your body.
No, yeah, so I don't have a bag as such. I have like a little valve, and it's literally a case of opening that when I feel like I need to go to the toilet and then closing it once I've finished.
I see, because I understand. You don't need to position yourself directly over the loo.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So would you recommend the operation to Fee?
Yeah, 100%. Fee? In this current situation with the fact, like she said, she hasn't got time to wait for these changing places to become more and more widely spread. 100% to go for it.
Fee, it's awful to be doing this because the facilities aren't there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unnecessary, and we're just trying to campaign for more changing places because we don't want people to go through what we have.
So you're going to get the surgery before Christmas, Fee, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Any advice or tips for her, Marnie?
Drink lots and lots of water after first having it done. Lemon water really helped me to prevent an infection, and yeah, just drink and drink and drink.
How's that, Fee?
Yeah, I'll definitely be drinking as much as I can because limiting fluid for so long, that's going to be a big change.
I know that you did a feature for the Guardian newspaper on this recently. So Marnie, have you heard from other people in a similar situation since that?
Yeah, I'm quite active on social media within disability groups and everything, and lots of people have been saying how they're having a similar problem. I know a lot of young girls around my age who have had the operation for the catheter as well, and it's just bringing it to light how many people are in this predicament, and that's something that needs to change.
Well, I wish you both all the best. Thank you. Fee, by the way, we were trying to get you to the Salford studio today, but you had a situation which you've had many times where they were just what happened? The right taxi didn't arrive.
Yeah, the taxi that your team booked didn't arrive, even though you checked on it several times. And then Becca, who I've been talking to, was trying to ring around other firms. Nobody was available. So we've ended up on the phone. So
we wanted something that had the right adaptations for you to travel in, and one was booked and then it didn't come, and then there was no replacement. I'm really sorry. But it illustrates it perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a frustrating situation, but it's just another thing wheelchair users in particular are dealing with on a daily basis.
We are talking about the disabled toilet facilities which sorely let down people with certain disabilities if they need a hoist. Jenny lies in Bath and says, I've been disabled for 6 years. I've been facing these difficulties since when I do manage to go out, the public toilets either have stairs or they are locked. A lot of public toilets where I am have also been closed down due to cuts. It's an ongoing nightmare, she says. It's concerning, isn't it? If you are somebody who can't use the wall bars to lift, then what do you do? Alan James in Forest Gate London says the UK's response to disabled people is a national disgrace. Not enough is being done, especially for those with acute conditions like urinary ones. If you're just joining us, of the two ladies that we had on, one of them had to hold in so much urine so many times. She got bladder infections and urinary tract infections and all that. And now the antibiotics she's resistant to. James Warren in Devizes in Wiltshire, you also have some insight into this, do you?
Yes, I do. Yes, Jeremy.
So tell us what's happened to you.
Well, I've got recurring urethral strictures, had them for many, many years, which means that I have problems emptying my bladder. And this was originally dealt with by intermittent self-catheterization, which is where you have to pass a catheter into the bladder several times a day just to drain it down.
Right.
And this was causing repeated infections. And it's a nightmare when you're out in public trying to find somewhere clean enough to do this. So 2 years ago, I was fitted with a suprapubic catheter, like your previous callers are envisaging. And this in itself, it sort of solves one problem, but it causes just as many others.
So is it more sterile then? Is that the key point?
Well, the key point is that the catheter is passed directly through the abdominal wall into the bladder. It stays there permanently. So you don't have the issues of having to put a catheter in yourself. But, yes, the infections don't go away. I'm on sort of a continuous low dose of antibiotics to keep that at bay. It
Right.
can be uncomfortable. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm ambulant. I'm walking around. I look just like you or anybody else, which also has issues. I feel a little bit apprehensive when I have to go into an accessible toilet because I have been challenged. People saying, oh, what are you doing going in there? You look fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to say, no, I've got a disability.
Yes, I do, yes.
Yeah. James, thank you. Eileen Devenny in Chesham says, my 10-year-old daughter has cerebral palsy. She can't sit on regular disabled toilets, so we have to carry a mat to change her, and it's getting harder as she ages. These toilets should be compulsory. So the ones with hoists, in other words, that's what we're talking about, because there are some people who will not be able to use the loo unless there is one. Women in particular. Alan Carr is in Elstree. Alan, you've got MS and you use a catheter, is that right?
That's correct. I've had a catheter for since 2001.
And is the issue to do with moving on to the loo, or is it more to do with the sort of mechanism inside your body of passing urine?
No, I'm fitted with a suprapubic catheter, and I'm in a power chair, and it's difficult for me to get into a toilet occasionally.
I see.
My wife has to come in with me to empty my bag.
Right. But does it work well for you, the catheter, then?
It works very well. Just to give a little hint to your last caller, used a catheter with which is silver coated.
Okay.
I hadn't had any infections now for 2 years.
Silver coated stops infections, does it?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.